welcome back to another one of our videos, guys. We decided to do a voiceover this time because we were both feeling a little under the weather when we recorded this. So this is we just said steak, but what kind of steak did we choose?
A top round.
And
so it was important that we marinate it. The thing about top round is it's very dense. It's got some connective tissue and not a lot of fat. So what you saw Chris doing was poking both sides with a great big fork, and now he's in the process of making a marinade. And we just put our usual suspects that we like to put in with our steak. So it's ginger, garlic, onion, in this case green onion. It's not necessarily, any kind of oriental. It's more like a mixture of things because
yeah, it's a fusion.
Yeah, it's a fusion.
But we did go. I mean, we went with sake, but it could have been any alcohol.
Yeah,
really.
We thought about beer. We thought about white wine. We didn't have red wine, but we had just a little bit of that sake left, and you'd be surprised like how good a flavor enhancer sake is, and it doesn't really have a wine taste. And then soy sauce is kind of a universal browning flavor, umami bomb, and then this balsamic reduction here in particular, I know it doesn't seem like it would go together, but I didn't want to add sugar, and I wanted vinegar, and so that component there that we got at farmer's market one day was like the perfect mix. So it's sweet and it's tangy, and you don't have to add a lot of sugar.
But yeah, that was the sweetness. The other thing that was so great about this is we got to use up the last of things.
Yeah, exactly. We finished off a couple bottles of stuff that needed to be used up, and this I think this is the basic theme of this particular process, because we're coming up in a minute. Let's talk about this asparagus. Because we were both sick and under the weather, I did a Kroger order, and I thought they were going to have the big fat asparagus. Oh no, we got the crappy asparagus. So I was like, what can I do with this other than make asparagus soup? And this was kind of like a good compromise. It turned out pretty good. I personally can't stand the thin asparagus.
In the end, though, I agree with you. I think most people do. But in the end, this was such a great compromise. The bacon really wrapped, and then the oil that we put it in, it wasn't burnt, and it wasn't overcooked, and it just had such a great flavor.
Yeah, we're fixing to throw this on the grill, and the grill just really added a nice texture to the top.
Smokiness.
A smokiness and a texture to the top of the asparagus. It made it kind of crunchy.
Yeah.
I really liked that too. Yeah. The bacon never got crunchy, but it was cooked. But
it was cooked, but it didn't get not typical bacony.
Yeah. So when will I learn to stop using Kroger Shop for Me app? When will I learn to stop?
These are our babies. Yeah.
That's me. I first.
Yeah. They always tend to look
coward.
Yeah, forlorn when we're cooking. It's their.
Okay, so here's the making of the gnocchi. I had leftover potatoes and carrots from Easter, and I thought instead of making soup, let's turn it into gnocchi. And there's a couple things. I want to make this video this way because it was an experiment. It was trial and error. Now in the potatoes there's cream and there's butter, and in traditional gnocchi you don't do that. You rice the potatoes and they're dry. This is not that. This is a very wet way to start gnocchi, and it's kind of dangerous. In the end, I probably shouldn't have added egg, but I thought it could be richer. It could bind things together if things don't stay together. I was really interested in that.
It gave it a chewy bounciness.
Exactly, and that's not really.
It wasn't bad. I liked it, actually.
In the end, they kind of turned out to be more potato dumplings than gnocchi.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that here coming up. But I thought, it was a good experiment. They held together. They were good. But they're very sort of a little bit chewy, a little bit creamy, and I'm not sure that that's the texture you need for gnocchi.
We also ended up making them a little bit big.
Yeah, I know. This you'll see. Like they really turned out more like potato dumplings. Like they really, when I boiled them, they really puffed up, which was great. Like they look really generous on the plate. But is this gnocchi? Nah.
It's something like it. Yeah, it's dumplingy, gnocchi.
In the neighborhood, it's gnocchi
techniques.
Yeah. And here, so because the potatoes were already wet when I started, this dough was pretty wet. I was about 15 ounces of potatoes and carrots, and I had originally 2 cups of flour. I think I took another whole cup of flour. And what you want to achieve with this is you want to get it together. You want the gluten to develop slightly, and you don't want it to be tacky to the touch. You want it to not stick to your hands or anything like that. So you don't want to develop the gluten like crazy, but you want to make sure that when you throw it in the water, it all holds together. So
this also was another use of us making the best of what we had.
Too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because normally, obviously, it should be said you don't make it with carrots and potato mash.
No way.
It's a potato thing.
Yeah.
But we are very accustomed to carrots and potatoes because in my family we eat it a lot, and it just has a sweeter flavor,
especially for holidays.
Yeah, at holidays, and so this is kind of like leftover from our Easter dinner.
Yeah. So there we are. Now I'm making the gnocchi shape.
Yeah. And you found out that the fish spatula worked a lot better than the fork.
Yeah, I started out on a fork, and we cut that and did this.
Yeah.
Just let us know in the comments, like, what would you do? Like, what was your opinion of that process? Because I'm dying to know if I have any experts out there.
I'm sure there are.
I'm not saying it's a standard example of gnocchi. I just tried something,
Yeah, and I think this is like a weekday meal for us, just making the best of what we have.
So if the Italians out there aren't already screaming, wait till you see what I do with the gnocchi after it's cooked. Yeah, put that ring back on. Don't lose that.
No. I'd hate to see that go into a gnocchi.
I know.
So you can see from the temperatures that I show, the general cooking temperature that the grill stayed at was about 450 to 500 degrees, and overall the steak, because it was so thick, it took on our grill about almost 15 minutes. I almost did 5 minutes aside. And I flipped it like twice, so that was like 3
Okay, so here's what I was afraid was going to happen. Look at all that gnocchi sticking together. So that's because of the wetness of the potato mix that I use, the potatoes and carrots. And I probably shouldn't have put an egg in, but I don't know. Like I said, I was just trying something. They all separate, and so there we are.
Yeah. Be checking on things. Just flipping the asparagus. Yeah, like it didn't grill, but like there is some really, oh man, it smelled good, and the crackling of the oil on the asparagus sounded so amazing. I've grilled this steak a number of times, so I think when it comes to steak, you use your instincts.
There's my potato gnocchi dumplings. They're enormous.
They got bigger.
Yeah, they got bigger, yeah. Okay, so this is a bit of a mess. So I tried to drain it, and I did, and then I was like, oh, I want to save some of that water, so I quickly put that in there. So the pan will have just a little bit of starchy water. And here we have Velveeta and cheddar cheese. We didn't wind up using the cheddar cheese soup. We didn't.
No, we didn't.
So I left it with the starchy water, and just let the Velveeta do its thing.
But this is probably where Italians would scream.
I think now I'm just going to get so much hate, probably. And I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. I'm not Italian. There's not an ounce of Latin blood in me at all.
No,
so
but this whole thing is fusion-y.
It shows. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. There's the Velveeta. I don't even play with macaroni and cheese anymore. I just use Velveeta.
Yeah.
My bechamel is just not good. So I use the starchy water, the Velveeta, and a little bit of cheddar, and that's cayenne pepper.
Yeah.
So you want to melt all that cheese, more or less. I don't know. Here, Chris is going to get those.
So this is like us cutting back and forth. Like simultaneously, she was finishing we'll call them dumplings now. Gnocchi dumplings. While I was finishing the asparagus and steak. And I truly believe it's really important to rest the steak once it's cooked.
And wrap it so you don't lose any of the juices.
Yeah. That's like a must. And I just used my instincts when it came to the asparagus. I just used my eyes and ears and instincts on how long to cook that.
Okay, there's the cream sauce. Cheesy sauce, and in goes my gnocchi dumplings.
I thought they were great.
I thought in the end they tasted really good. They really needed some time to finish in that sauce, and they got that. So behind there is the rest of the marinade. You can see on the back of the burner.
That we marinated the steak in. Yeah.
So we're heating that up. We're gonna make sort of a sauce out of it. Here's Chris.
It was such a beautiful day.
It was beautiful. It's too bad we felt so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm making a slurry here to thicken up the sauce. Once it comes to a boil, I took 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and then roughly the same amount of water and mixed it up. Maybe that's maybe a little more than 2 tablespoons. I'm actually going to want... So then you put the slurry in and you let it start to thicken. And then I'm going to notice here that it's getting thicker than it should be, so I'm adding some more water. And it can take it, because that's a lot of like soy sauce and strong flavors and stuff like that, so it could use a little water. Here she comes.
Yep, the asparagus are finished.
Beautiful.
As a team, we always do so well. That's like part of the reason that I think we decided to do this YouTube channel is like we just eat so much good food. And this is just like, I don't know, if like I was just looking at this and I didn't know these people, I'm like, do you guys eat like this every day? Like almost. I would say.
Well, that's quite a humble brag. We try.
Well, you're such a good cook, and like we just like I don't know, we put our time into this stuff. So, but yeah, that what I was saying is a one-handed fold here.
Yeah, I was still at the stove, so I couldn't carry the camera, unfortunately. So, this is what you get.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we roasted it for too long, but it did rest for a little bit. I don't know how long it eventually ended up resting for, but it's crucial. So I think we're just bringing everything together here, and you're finishing up.
Okay, so that's the gnocchi and cheese sauce, cheesy gnocchi. And then back there is so I'm just going to plate everything here. So we're going to do a buffet style, which I prefer. Everyone gets to serve themselves however much they want. Now, look at this. Look at this beauty here he did.
I couldn't have been happier with the way it came out. Like, and again, this is total instincts on everything. The more that you kind of grill steaks, the more you'll figure it out. And I think that was a perfect kind of medium. I don't know, almost medium rare.
Almost.
Medium, yeah.
Medium rare in the middle.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, it's just beautiful. You did such a good job. And that's the marinade that's turned into a sauce. That's everybody.
I had plated before, but I just wanted to film as she plated because the way that this all kind of ended up looking together was just so beautiful, artful.
So, if you have comments, please give us notes and throw us a like and maybe a subscribe if you like what you're seeing. We're a brand new channel and we're really trying something new, and we're really having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
we have a lot of cool recipes we want to show you.
For sure.
Thank you for all the attention on Lemon Nemesis. Honestly, we are thrilled, tickled pink.
Yeah.
So grateful to y'all, to like all the attention you gave.
Yeah.
And there we go.
It's been incredible. And this is how it finally came out. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.